So let's drill into one of those key Dow components here, Apple. The shares slightly higher today, paring back some of the losses we saw yesterday after the Department of Justice sued Apple in an antitrust case. TD Cowen is out with a new note saying the case may not even reach trial until the second half of 2026. Krish Sankar wrote the note. He's a managing director at TD Cowen who covers semiconductor equipment and IT hardware. It's good to talk to you today. So why do you think that Apple buys a little time just because the case gets pushed off and we may not see courtroom drama happen for another couple of years? Chris?
Yeah, sure, Candice. Thanks for having me. I think that timing is based on what you've seen happen with Google and Microsoft antitrust cases. So it took like about a little over a year and a half for them to get all the ducks in a row before going to trial. So it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case. But, based on prior precedents, it seems like a likely outcome that it takes a while before it goes to trial.
Do you think that Chris? Do you think that Chris is? Do you think that Apple could be facing some repairs or some remediation in advance of the legal path that we see ahead that could actually eat into its bottom line?
No, if you're talking about potential hits, I would say that until the courts determine how to, impact Apple, I don't see any risk to the actual numbers per se until you start having a final decision outcome. But I think the risk is the regulatory overhang is always a slight negative for the stock, could be a headwind for the stock. If many investors think that this is going to start eating into their high margin services business, that could have a slight negative impact on the multiple. So I would probably say that, in the near term or the intermediate term, I don't see the numbers actually getting impacted, but the stock is a slightly different story.
Okay. And what do you think the impact on the stock is going to be?
At this point, obviously, we've seen the stock was down yesterday 2 or 3%, and now it's holding up pretty well. I think investors are still trying to digest the news. And depending on how you look at it, calling it a monopoly, and usually the trigger point is over 65%. If you look at the U.S., Apple's revenue share of iPhones is over 65% of smartphones. If you look at their unit share of total units in the US, it's about 55 to 60, but it's probably over 70% for the premium smartphone segment. So it really depends on how you slice it and dice it, depending on how you look at it. So people are still trying to digest that fact.
And what do you think are upcoming catalysts that we could see that potentially could move the stock price higher?
I think from a catalyst standpoint, obviously, I think you're going to have people expecting some kind of product announcements in calendar Q2. Obviously, they have the earnings call end of April, early May. In June, they have the Worldwide Developer Conference. So there are definitely some catalysts in terms of products and, portfolio releases in addition to earnings. In terms of what the outcome of this is going to be, it's very hard to handicap it. And I'll be really surprised if Apple talks openly about it on the earnings call, given the fact that a lot of it is still evolving and people usually don't comment on legal matters.
Do you think that there is a chance that, regardless of what the DOJ does and how that path goes about regulating its competitive moat, do you think that there is a case to be made that Apple loses share because its products are super expensive? And that, we just heard a guest on the exchange last hour with Tyler talking about how young people don't have a lot of disposable cash, that maybe a more affordable option starts to eat into Apple's considerable success.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Clearly, if you look at the hardware segment, the iPhone is the biggest cash driver, is the biggest cash cow for them. And, people have written about iPhone, being kind of replaceable or things like that for the last 7-8 years. Even spoken about innovation, which has slowed down for iPhones, but you're still seeing the cadence of iPhone adoption being pretty strong. I think the more important thing is, I think the install base is extremely low, right? Over the last 4 or 5 years, I would say that churn from iPhone to Android has been extremely low. So that tells you it's a very sticky install base. Clearly the ecosystem plays a part, but the very fact that, it is a high ASP product, but at the same time, it provides you a lot of benefits and features that it seems like the consumers are willing to, adopt it. Clearly this year, we had to see how the adoption rate is. The views that actually iPhone units might be down year over year. It's a combination of digestion and a few other things.